All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashai, Ba'ashim Rakakwarash. Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, which today in age people ignorantly call God or Jehovah. Bahashim in the name, and Yahawashai being the true name of the Heavenly Son, which today in age people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Heavenly Son, Yahweh and Yahawashai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah that rule well, and salutations to Akim out there in the highways and the byways, preaching His word in truth and in sincerity. To you, brothers, I say Shalom. This is the brother Shakal, out here from the GMS Chicago camp, coming at you with another lesson. And basically just something that was in my spirit, and it was more about like, everyday battle, us that are striving to get right, under the good graces of Yahweh, Bashim Yahawashai, hey, we're going to have that battle of spirit against the flesh, your carnal instincts against your spiritual instincts, and if we want to win, if we want to overcome that, we have to stay in the spirit, do more spiritual things and entertain more spiritual things, and be focused, more involved in spiritual things than carnal things. Because when you're involved in, when you're constantly reading, and you're watching videos, doing videos, you're praying and you're fasting and you're doing stuff like that, whenever that lust, that desire of feeding the flesh comes, guess what? You'll be more bold and strong to deny it and keep it under subjection. But if you're not, every time that lust comes or, that fleshly desire comes, you're going to be more vulnerable to it, So if you want to have more control over the flesh, we have to be in the spirit, So when those fleshly desires and things come, obviously if they're going off, we'll deny them right away. But also the ones that may not be going off but aren't really beneficial or have anything to do with salvation, we'll keep those under control. We won't get distracted by it. We won't spend too much time on that. You see? This is 1 Corinthians 9:24. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain." Right? So that what does that mean? That means we got to be on our P's and Q's when it comes to, doing this work. Constantly, praying, fasting, watching videos, doing videos, breaking bread, being around men of like mind, all that. You doing all that, when you do all that diligently, guess what? You're running so you may obtain. You're putting in the work so that what? You could get that prize. You deny Salakia. So if we want to obtain that and have our flesh under control, we got to do that. That's how we got to run, man. Constantly be focused in the spirit. It's like training, man. This is why Paul made this comparison. It's like training. You want to receive the prize of whatever sport you're playing. Guess what? You're going to put in the work. You're going to constantly, let's say you're a runner, you're going to constantly be stretching and running and, getting your legs strong, Same thing with the spirit. You're going to do things that will get your spirit strong, which are some of the things that I mentioned. Doing those things is going to basically get you ready so that when you run, when you're out there in the field, so to speak, you may do it the right way and get the prize, man, and this is an everyday thing, man, and some battles are going to be harder than the others, but hey, as long as we're in the spirit, we're always going to overcome, and even if we do fail, hey, what do? We get back up and keep on fighting, man. Hey, you see the stories of these athletes. Sometimes they come in and then, they're hot, then they fail, and then they have this downfall. But guess what? The very good athletes, they come back from that slump, And that's what we got to do. The scriptures say, what? A just man falleth 7 times, but get it back up again. But the wicked fall into mischief. See, that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to be the wicked that fall into mischief and just sin and, nah, I don't care, whatever. No, we want to be the righteous that gets back up no matter how many times they fail and continues to fight, because this is a battle, man. And hey, your flesh is going to win at times, but what we want to do is we want to let our flesh win the least amount of times as possible. Offend less. Offenses are gonna come. You are gonna do offenses. You are gonna go off. But our job is to offend less. We're in the flesh. It's gonna happen. But we have to offend less. And when we do that, we offend less. It says, verse 25, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate of all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. You see, that means what? We're disciplined in all things. We're doing everything required to win and abstaining from everything that could possibly hold us back. You see? And these athletes do it to obtain trophies and medals and prizes and all that, and they go hard. So how much more us getting the incorruptible, the ultimate prize that everybody, even though a lot of people might not know what it is or what it means, that everybody's going to desire it once the Lord comes. How much more us? We have to strive, man. We got to, put our flesh under subjection. And trust me, it may be easy at times, but sometimes you have those hard times where your flesh is really fighting, and that's, and that's why we constantly, are rehearsing the righteous acts, staying in the spirit. So when these hard times come, no matter how hard they may be, we may overcome the flesh. You see, we got to be able to, we got to, every opportunity we get to defeat the flesh, we got to take it. We got to take it, See how hard your favorite athlete, whatever sport you watch, or, see how hard they go. And then, see if you're doing the same thing, for the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. If not, then hey, let's put in that work. Let's put in that work so that we could be the spiritual LeBron James and the spiritual, Kobe Bryants and so on and so forth, because they did this. This is greater than everything that they're fighting for. So why, why wouldn't we put, the same amount of work, spiritually that they did carnally, But hey, ultimately it goes to faith, because we got to have that vision, So, let's keep that vision in the forefront and not let it go, man. And truly believe that the Lord is gonna give you these things. And guess what? That's gonna make us do the right thing. Stay in the spirit. Every time we get the opportunity, we're gonna want to do it. Why? Because we believe and see what the Lord said He was gonna give us. You see, just like they believe and see. They picture themselves holding a trophy. They picture themselves that's the same thing we gotta have. In the spiritual way, seeing ourselves getting crowned by Bashim Yahushai. That ain't gonna happen if we're letting the flesh win. You see? It says, it says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. Right? So we do these things, so that we don't half-ass these things. We don't just do, no, we do it right. We strive lawfully. We got to do these things with sincerity and in truth, so they can mean something, apply these things. We got to You know, we don't just do it like, whatever, I have to train. No, hey, no, I have to train. Why? Because this is what I want. I want this prize. I want. So everything that I do, I make sure I'm going to do it so where it matters and not just do something where like, what, why am I even doing? Why are you even doing this? You see? No, we got to be certain, man. You know? And we got to make every fight, every punch, so to speak, land. You know? Doing this work directly and correctly, man. You know, when we do it like that, it counts and it shows that you're certain and it shows that you're actually fighting and everything is landing, you know, spiritually. You know, so that's what we got to do. Because if not, guess what? Every time the flesh comes, every time, you know, the lust of the flesh and all that comes, you're going to easily get overtaken, man. You know, so we can't just be, you know, saying things and not applying, being hypocrites, you know? Because then it's like, well, are you even, you know, what are you doing? You know? Are you even trying? Like, hello? You know? You know, get your head out of your ass and, hey, and pay attention. You know? And like I said, some days are harder than others, but, hey, you want to build that ability to where those harder days you're still overcome, then, hey, stay in the spirit. Fight certainly. You know, make sure every punch counts. This is verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. You see? So we gotta keep our flesh under subjections. Hey, the scriptures say that see what is evil for you and get away from it. You know, roughly paraphrasing it. You know, so hey, we have to know ourselves, man. You know, and we should know ourselves. And we should know what triggers what and if I put myself in this situation, I want to do this and so on and so forth, you know. So guess what, putting your body in subjection, you would be like, well, you know what, let me not do this, let me not do that, let me not be in this type of environment and all that. Why? Because then I'm gonna want to do this is gonna happen. You know what, I'm starting to feel this way, let me keep my mind focused on this, let me start reading, let me start doing this, so that I won't take heed to the lust of the flesh. So I won't do this carnal thing, but I'll, you know, overcome it by doing the spiritual thing, you know. That's you keeping your body under subjection, you know. Lest that by any, you know, it's so like that, because if not, then you're gonna be a castaway, you're gonna be a reprobate, you're gonna be a degenerate, you know. And I believe when you go into that the word subjection, I think let's just get it. I believe it goes like basically beating yourself up. Hey, well, shit. One of the definitions right here, too, it says to make slave, to treat us as slave with severity, subject to stern, rigid discipline. And yes, it's easier said than done. But we have to practice a stern and rigid discipline because this flesh tweaks, this flesh bugs out, this flesh, it's a never-ending thing with this flesh. It's always a battle. And as soon as you let your guard down, it's gonna get you. So we have to keep that stern and rigid discipline. Every time we get the chance to defeat the flesh, we got to defeat it. You know, the more attention and the more you entertain those carnal and fleshly things, guess what? The more vulnerable you're gonna be with it. The more you discipline yourself and abstain from those things and do spiritual things, hey, the more you'll overcome the flesh. You see? It's like that saying, you know, like, hey, you got two wolves, you know, you evil and a good one. Which one are you gonna feed? You know. Yeah, there you go. It's keep under is what I was actually looking for. It says to beat black and blue, to smite so as to cause bruises and livid spots. Like a boxer when buffets his body, handle it roughly, disciplined by hardships. You see? That's what we gotta do. And like I said, it's not fun. It's people will call it boring, but guess what? The fruits of it are very, very beneficial, man. All these people that are giving themselves to the lust of the flesh and not caring about the Lord or anything, hey, at the end of the day, they're gonna wish they did what we do, you know. So hey, who cares what they think? Hey, fuck all that. Hey, we're striving to become priests and kings, not fucking the best party goers. And you know, you see, this is what we gotta have in it, in order for, this is the spirit and the mindset we gotta have in order for us to defeat the lust of the flesh, you know. Hey, sometimes you might have to, let's say you're home all day, you're off, you're not working that day, and then your mind just, or your flesh just starts tweaking, wanting to do this, but you haven't done anything for the Lord yet, and you're not just battling, man, but I want to do this, but then I gotta do this. And sometimes, hey, go for a drive, get away from whatever could possibly make you take heed to your flesh, and go somewhere where you know you could start doing something more spiritual, and not having your flesh try to make you tweak, man. You see, because everybody has different things that distract them, so to speak. Like could be video games, could be women, could be sports, could be something. Now those things may not be necessarily going off, but if you pay more attention to those things, then yes, they are going off. Why? Because you're ignoring the Lord and you're paying attention more to those things. And those things, could eventually make you fall off if you don't have that discipline, man. That's why we gotta apply this, man. And let's say let's say, for example, you got a video game demon, so to speak. So now you might want to play video games as soon as you wake up, but you know that it's better for you to pray to Yahweh Shemi How Shai, do a video, read, or do something spiritual first and then do it. Look, fight your flesh. You know that the video game is only at your house, and so what do? Leave the house, go somewhere where there's no video games or anything, and guess what? Start doing something spiritual. Fight. This is a fight. Whatever we gotta do to fight and keep our flesh under subjection, let's do it. And the more you build up the spirit, by the time you know it, shit, you probably won't even look at that video game anymore. Like, man, I remember when I used to be a video game head. Now I don't even give a fuck about it. You see? But we have to fight. This is Galatians 5 and 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." You see? So if you're walking it, you're not gonna fulfill it. You're gonna be offending less, and whenever you fulfill the lust of the flesh, and it's gonna be those times are gonna happen less than often. You see, and that's what we want. We're not gonna be perfect. These times are gonna come when we fail, but we want them to have them at the least. We want it to happen the least amount of times they could happen. And if you walk in the spirit, that's exactly how we'll be able to do that. It says, "For the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." You see, it's always going to be a constant battle, man. This is why we need the Lord. This is why we need salvation. And sometimes you are gonna fail, but hey, we still gotta get back up and do better and keep on fighting. And even stay fighting. until the Lord comes back. We'll do whatever is required for you. We got to do whatever is required for us to fight the flesh, because it's not going to stop, man. As long as the Lord doesn't come back, or as long as we're still here and the Lord hasn't come back yet, guess what? We're still going to have this battle. Even Paul said it, and Paul was a mighty man. You see? If he was going through it, how much more us? You see? So, hey, you want to have a more wins than losses? Then why? Hey, let's walk in the Spirit. Let's walk in the Spirit. And if we lose, get back up again. Continue to walk in the Spirit. The last thing we want to do is give ourselves to the lust of the flesh. This is Sirach 19:5. Whoso taketh pleasure in wickedness shall be condemned, but he that resisted pleasures crowned his life. You see? Because pleasures and lust of the flesh, all that really just makes you feel good, but it doesn't benefit you in any way, shape, or form. You see? So when you spend your life, giving yourself to pleasures, it's like you waste your life. You really waste it. You didn't do anything important. But when you resist it, guess what? You crown your life. You become something and someone better. Why do you think a lot of people, whether they realize it or not, they look up these fitness influencers and other? Why? Because they see that they have this discipline that they don't have. They see that they're achieving something better than just eating every time their body tells them to eat, watching movies and, just being in the lust of the flesh. You see? There's more honor and mightiness, so to speak, when you resist pleasures, man. People will look up to you. People will people will fear you. People, there's a lot of benefits, man. And ultimately, the best benefit, for resisting pleasures is what? Getting salvation, man. Getting salvation and getting those new bodies, But even in a worldly sense, resisting pleasures is still better than one that gives himself to pleasures, So how much more in the spiritual, in a spiritual sense, so to speak, how much more in that, it will definitely benefit us, more than taking heed to the flesh. We'll actually crown, we'll actually win a crown, like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 2nd chapter, But this was basically it. I hopefully you brethren were edified, Hopefully you brothers got the message. And yeah, just fight, man. How hard it may seem, they trust in the Lord's mercies. This is why we're under grace. As long as you're fighting, that grace is gonna work. So we don't be that wicked that fall into mischief. Be that one that when you fail, you get back up and you strive and fight harder and continue to fight, until the Lord comes back, because those are the ones that the Lord is going to save, man, no matter how many times they fuck up or all that, because the Lord knows we're in the flesh. What he wants is us to fight the best as possible, to fight this flesh the best as possible, and then when he comes back, he'll reward us. That's what he wants us to do, man. He knows we're not gonna be perfect, but fight this flesh the best as possible. The best way you can. Just fight, figure it out. Yeah, everybody has different lusts, pleasures, and all that. Figure out what's yours, and know how to discipline it, know how to abstain from it, So with that, I'm going to end up by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashai, Ba'ashem Rakakorash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yesharala, the rule well, and salutations to you Akim out there in the highways and the byways, preaching this word in truth and in sincerity. Shalom and Abba Baba.